Chapter 4. Since then, every time they met in the Abraham Lincoln Library, Ha would cling to Tone and chatter about everything under the sun. From friends in her class to trivial matters at home, from math problems to essays, she always sought his opinion. Despite his limited French, Tone did his best to guide her through math, physics, and chemistry problems or offer advice on her essays. She was undeniably intelligent, while he found himself becoming increasingly reserved. Many times, Tone wanted to distance himself from Ha and her sister, but he couldn't understand why he felt more and more attached to this girl he often considered just a kid. He couldn't pinpoint what he was feeling, especially since the first girl to capture his attention had been Swang, not Ha. It wasn't that Ha wasn't beautiful, she was, but at 16, she was still a young girl, not yet mature. Tone, at 22, was on the verge of graduating and stepping into the adult world. The 6-year age difference wasn't the issue, he knew that. Rather, it was her immaturity that made him think that in a few years, when she grew older, she wouldn't see him the same way. She would eventually leave him behind. Tone was a rational person, seldom swayed by emotions, and he didn't dare harbor any romantic feelings for Tan Ha. He often reminded himself to think of her as a sweet younger sister, someone he could guide as she took her first steps into life, without burdening himself with feelings that might bring him pain later. Occasionally, Ha's mother invited Tone to join them for family meals. He accepted these invitations, treating them as a small reward for his efforts in helping Ha. And sometimes Swang, who was preparing for the Baccalaureate II exam. By then, Tone no longer harbored feelings for Swang, although he still admired her beauty. Under his guidance, Ha made noticeable progress in her studies. If life were a river flowing peacefully, Tone would have been drifting along that tranquil current. But the war in South Vietnam was intensifying. The situation in Saigon and beyond was ablaze with conflict. Protests and disruptions by pro-communist student organizations made it nearly impossible for ordinary students to focus on their studies. Violent acts of terrorism plagued public spaces in Saigon, including bombings, grenade attacks, and arson targeting American vehicles. Even university campuses were not spared, as non-communist students were assassinated at institutions such as the College of Arts and the College of Pharmacy. Tone, unfortunately, found himself in his final year of university amidst the peak of these disturbances, leaving him in a state of deep confusion. Then, in early 1968, the Viet Cong launched the Tet Offensive across the South, bringing student studies to a standstill. Although not yet soldiers, Tone and other students were required to join the armed self-defense group called Sin Vien Hoc Duong. The student defense group, they had to take turns guarding key points in the capital and attend military training sessions both at school and at the Quang Trung Training Center. Tone was overwhelmed with responsibilities, finishing his final certificates, tutoring to earn a living, and participating in armed forces activities. As a result, he had little time for Ha. The Abraham Lincoln Library, their usual meeting place, was no longer open regularly because it was an American cultural institution that prioritized security. Tone also avoided visiting Ha's house unless absolutely necessary. Consequently, his relationship with Ha became increasingly distant. More than 6 months had passed since they first met, yet neither of them had expressed their feelings. Tone couldn't determine what their relationship truly was. Sometimes he thought it was for the best that he hadn't allowed his feelings to deepen. After all, any love between him and Ha would likely never have a happy ending. His practical nature reminded him that Ha was accustomed to a life of luxury, while he was just a poor student. Even with a university degree, he felt he amounted to little in society. He concluded it would be best not to create complications for Ha. If she eventually realized he wasn't worthy of her, it would be difficult for her to break things off. Even if she did genuinely love him, social prejudices and her family's opposition would make their love impossible. This relationship, if it existed, would lead nowhere. The best course of action was to avoid it entirely. Taking advantage of his busy schedule, Tone deliberately began distancing himself from Ha, though it left him feeling both sad and uneasy. One afternoon, Tone was sitting in the schoolyard with his friends after military training when he saw a familiar car turn off Song Ho Street and drive straight through the campus gate. startled. He stood up and made his way toward the College of Education, located behind Lecture Hall 2 of the College of Science. He couldn't mistake that car. It was the same one that picked up Swang and Ha every day, with his driver always dressed in a crisp white uniform and matching cap. Since starting military training, Tone hadn't seen Ha in over 2 months. He didn't know how she was doing. Though he missed her, he reassured himself that his decision to distance himself was for the best, to spare them both future pain. Yet today, she had come straight to his school. Through the car's window, he saw Ha sitting alone in the back seat. As he approached, his friends watched curiously. Before Tone could reach the car, Ha opened the door, stepped out, and ran toward him, calling loudly, "Tone!" Tone thought to himself, "This girl is so childish. Does she not care if people laugh at her?" He smiled and asked, "What are you doing here?" Ha replied without hesitation, "Looking for you. What else? Where have you been? I haven't seen you in so long." Tone sighed and said, "You see, all students in Saigon have to do military training and guard duty. I'm no exception." Ha frowned. "I see, but you still have to visit every now and then." He explained, "I've been so busy. I have to study and teach at the same time. I don't have much free time. I'm sorry, but once this military training is over, I'll visit, okay?" "That's fine," Ha said, "but my mom asked me to invite you over this afternoon. She has something to ask you. Can you come?" Tone thought for a moment before replying, "Okay, I'll come, but I'll be a little late since I have to teach until 6. Is that why you came here?" Ha grinned. "Of course. Otherwise, how could I convince Uncle Tu to drive me here?" Tone smiled. "All right, go home for now. I'll see you this evening. Break time is almost over, and we have more training to do before class." Ha extended her hand for a handshake, making Tone hesitate as his friends looked on. After glancing around, he finally reached out to shake her hand. Ha laughed and teased, "What kind of military uniform are you wearing? You look so strange. Wear this to my house later, okay?" Tone didn't answer. He simply waved at her and returned to his seat while she climbed back into the car and drove away. Veen, one of Tone's classmates who was also taking the Physical Chemistry 2 course, leaned in and asked, "Hey, is that your student or your girlfriend?" Tone felt slightly embarrassed and wasn't sure if he should lie. Smiling, he replied honestly, "Neither. She's not a student, and she's not my girlfriend. She's just a new friend." Veen laughed loudly. "Come on, what kind of friend drives all the way here just to find you? She's really pretty, but let me warn you, she's still a bit young. Be careful not to get yourself into trouble." Forcing a smile, Tone said, "It's nothing. You're overthinking. We're just friends. Her family is very wealthy. How could I dare think of anything more?" Veen nodded knowingly. "I see your point. Her family must be rich if she has a car and driver in uniform. But honestly, wouldn't you want to be the lucky rat falling into a jar of sticky rice? That would be the end of all your worries, right?" Tone wasn't surprised. Most students dreamed of marrying a beautiful, wealthy girl who could help them escape the grind of endless books and uncertainty. In a country ravaged by war, even graduation offered no guarantees. For those born into privilege, the future seemed assured. But for everyone else, finding a wife from a prestigious family felt like the only lifeline, a shield against hardship, and a chance to avoid starting at the bottom. Bitch Tai from Tone's group was a prime example. She wasn't exactly beautiful, but she wasn't unattractive either. What set her apart was her family's wealth. Her financial status had drawn admirers from not just their college, but other schools as well, even some graduates. Despite the attention, Tone hadn't seen her show interest in anyone. He often wondered why she always gravitated toward him during their shared classes. Perhaps she felt safe knowing he wasn't trying to flirt with her, unlike most of their peers. Tone considered Tai a good friend, but he never entertained the idea of pursuing her. He knew they came from vastly different worlds. Hers was one of urban affluence, while his was rooted in rural poverty. A relationship between them would be a disaster. His situation with Tan Ha wasn't much different. That was why he had resolved to distance himself from her. Ha was still so innocent, so pure, like a blank sheet of paper. Tone felt it would be wrong to stain that purity with his presence. Yet, despite his intentions, Ha had come to see him today. The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. What could her mother possibly want to discuss with him? He had never said a single flirtatious word to Ha, nor had he shown any sign of romantic interest. His relationship with her was strictly platonic. He saw himself as more of an older brother or a tutor helping with her studies. What could her mother want to talk about? That afternoon, Tone had a tutoring session with a third-grade student in the same class as Tan Ha. The boy's family lived on Pham Galau Street, not far from Ha's house. They were quite wealthy, owning a bomb production facility famous across the Far East. The boy, however, was spoiled and demanding. Once, the family had asked Tone to track him down and bring him home after he had run off to the Lat with a group of street kids. Tone realized he wasn't just a tutor, but also a behavior supervisor. His job included keeping the boy occupied at home and preventing him from mingling with the wrong crowd. It was challenging, but he adapted, eventually becoming something of a mentor for families dealing with wayward children, a role he hadn't anticipated, but found himself excelling in. After finishing the tutoring session, Tone rode his bike to Ha's house. This time, Ha greeted him at the gate herself, instead of sending the maid as she had done the first time. While waiting for Ha's mother to arrive, he asked, "What does your mother want to talk to me about?" Ha smiled mischievously. "You'll find out soon enough. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. She just wants to ask you for something. Wouldn't it be easier if you just told me now?" Tone asked, half joking. Ha frowned. "Mom told me not to say anything. She wants to tell you herself." Seeing her serious expression, Tone decided not to press further and waited in silence. A few moments later, Ha's mother entered the living room. Tone stood up to greet her. She gestured for Ha to call Swang, her elder sister, to join them. Tone was surprised but stayed quiet. Swang soon appeared, nodded politely to Tone, and sat next to her mother. Ha's mother took a deep breath before speaking. "Mr. Tone, I know you've been a great help to Ha with her studies. However, it seems like you've been too busy lately to spend much time with her. She asked me to speak with you about this." Swang is also preparing for her BAC2 exams, which is just a few months away. "I'd like to ask if you could tutor both of them. Of course, we'll pay you, just like other families do. I want to be clear that this is not to take advantage of your friendship, but simply to make things fair. Please think it over and let me know." Tone felt relieved. He had feared that Ha's mother might have misunderstood his relationship with her. After a moment's thought, he replied, "Yes, ma'am. Since I'm already acquainted with Ha and Swang, I'd be happy to guide them. However, I must admit that my French isn't very strong, so I can only help with certain subjects. Also, I wouldn't feel comfortable accepting payment for helping friends." Ha's mother frowned slightly, clearly displeased. Before she could respond, Ha interjected, "Mr. Tone, it's not about the money. Mom just wants to make sure you're compensated for your time and effort. If you don't accept it, I won't accept your help either." Caught off guard, Tone relented. "All right, I'll accept the payment if it makes you happy. Ma'am, I'll come to help them, but I'll need to adjust my schedule. I'm currently tied up with military training and other commitments, but I can come on Sundays for now. Once the training is over, I'll plan regular sessions." Ha clapped her hands in excitement. "That's perfect. I'm free on Sundays." Tone couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. He realized this whole arrangement was likely Ha's idea, with her mother acting as a mediator. Swang, on the other hand, remained quiet throughout the conversation. From then on, Tone found himself spending more time at Ha's house, often for hours at a stretch. While Swang occasionally asked him questions about math or physics, most of his time was spent with Ha, discussing everything under the sun, not just schoolwork, but all kinds of topics. Life moved on steadily. Tone graduated and, eager to continue his education, enrolled in the master's program, known as the Research Certificate at the College of Science. With a keen interest in physical chemistry, he chose it as his major. Around the same time, His friends introduced him to teaching opportunities, and he was officially hired to teach at several private high schools in Saigon. Life began to feel more stable. Meanwhile, Swoang successfully completed her Baccalaureate II in the French program, while Ha decided to switch to the Vietnamese Baccalaureate C program. She claimed it would be easier since passing the French subject would be no challenge for her. At 18, Ha had matured, shedding much of her childish demeanor. Yet, in Tone's eyes, she remained a little girl. Nothing about her had changed. By the end of that year, however, life took a sharp turn. A general mobilization order was issued, and Tone was no longer eligible for deferment. With no choice, he began preparing for his enlistment. The day Ha saw him off, she cried uncontrollably. Their bond had grown closer over time. They had gone out together often, though always chaperoned by a uniformed driver in a sleek black car. Despite this growing closeness, Tone still couldn't, or rather wouldn't, think of Ha as his lover. Neither of them had ever confessed their feelings. Tone wasn't sure what I thought of him, but to him, she was an image of pure beauty, an uplifting presence in his difficult student life, soothing his long-held sorrows. Yet, he couldn't bring himself to view her as a potential partner. Tone believed he wasn't worthy. Ha! The cherished daughter of a wealthy family, was worlds apart from him. Marriage would only bring her hardship, he thought. A girl like Ha couldn't endure the life of poverty he was accustomed to, nor could she call his humble countryside home, barely comparable to the garage of her family's mansion, her own. Tone wasn't merely feeling inferior. He was thinking of Ha's happiness and their incompatible lives. If he were to marry someday, it would have to be someone from a family of similar standing to his own, someone his mother could converse with without feeling out of place. While others might dismiss the idea of equal social status as outdated, to Tone, it remained an undeniable reality. In early 1970, Tone departed for Quang Trung Military School, carrying only a light bag and a heart that had yet to experience love. After 9 weeks of training, he was transferred to Thursday Duc Infantry School for another grueling month. 3 months away from the capital brought significant changes. Ha was now preparing for her Baccalaureate II exam, and Swoang was rumored to be making plans to study abroad in France. Life was moving forward, and Tone could only hope that Ha would forget him and find happiness with someone of her own age and class, a young man who could give her the carefree, joyful days she deserved. On his first leave, dressed in his neatly pressed uniform with golden tassels and the insignia of rank on his shoulders, Tone paid a visit to the two girls' family. Ha was overjoyed to see him, while Swoang greeted him with polite indifference. Their mother, Mrs. Tam, was notably cold. Tone wasn't surprised. He was now just another soldier, with no real future to offer. With the war intensifying, survival itself was uncertain. Why would a family like theirs waste time on someone like him? Still, Tone visited out of politeness, for Ha's sake, and because he had no other family in Saigon. He hadn't dared to visit his mother in Kai Rang, as the region remained unsafe. At the gate, Ha saw him off with a promise. "Wait for me at the law school this afternoon. I'll finish registering by 3 and take you to town." Without waiting for his response, she turned and closed the gate behind her. Tone was both amused and irritated by Ha's assertiveness. She always had a way of imposing her will, without regard for his thoughts or consent. Though she was on the verge of becoming a university student, her mischievous, childlike personality remained intact. As Tone wandered the university grounds later that day, nostalgia swept over him. The bustling scene reminded him of his first days as a student, the crowded registration tables, the sprawling lecture halls, and excitement of seeing senior students in the laboratories. Those memories felt like a lifetime ago. 5 years at the College of Science had equipped him with confidence as a teacher, yet standing here in his military uniform, he felt strangely lost. His friends were scattered, his family far away, and the only person left in Saigon he could visit was Ha, a girl he still couldn't bring himself to call a lover. If only you were an ordinary girl from an ordinary family, Tone thought. If only I weren't just a poor boy from the countryside. He had asked himself many times whether he would love Ha if he could cast aside these doubts. And each time, He lied to himself with a firm no. Deep down, Tone knew he had loved Monique Tan Ha for a long time, but fear, both for himself and for her, kept him silent. If he truly didn't care for her, he wouldn't have returned to Saigon, endured her family's cold treatment, or waited at the law school gate that afternoon for an appointment she hadn't even confirmed. Tone stood at the gate of the law school, waiting for Ha with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Though he was nearly 25, had graduated from university, and was now a soldier, he felt as if he were a teenager about to embark on his first date. He and Ha had spent time together before, going to restaurants, cinemas, and university dances, but those outings had always been under the watchful eye of her family. This, however, was different. It felt like a secret rendezvous, a departure from their usual, structured encounters. The implications weighed on his mind. Was Ha defying her family to spend time with him? Could it mean she had feelings for him too? And if so, how should he respond? Ha appeared at the gate, dressed in her usual school attire, a blue skirt, a crisp white blouse, and white canvas shoes. She looked simple, yet undeniably lovely. Tone had always appreciated her natural style and the innocence she retained, even at 18. She hadn't changed much since the day they met at the Abraham Lincoln Library. "Have you been waiting long?" Ha asked, her words spilling out in a rush. "Give me 10 minutes to register, then we'll go somewhere fun." Tone nodded and smiled without a word. True to her promise, Ha emerged soon after with a triumphant grin. "Done. Let's go to Saigon, have ice cream, and talk." "Which place?" Tone asked. "Phuong Lan, at the end of Nguyen Hugh Street," Ha suggested. "It's quieter than the shops on Luloi." Tone hailed a taxi, and the two climbed into the back seat. Ha glanced at him with a mischievous smile. "You look so handsome in your military uniform. Before, you look so funny in your school uniform." Tone chuckled, but a hint of worry crept into his voice. "Won't your parents find out you're with me?" "No, I didn't tell them," Ha replied with a sly grin. "I just said I'd register and call a taxi home. I didn't want Uncle Tu to wait." Tone teased. "You're quite the rebel, lying to your mom to go out with me." Ha's playful southern accent was endearing as she declared, "I'm an adult now." At the ice cream shop, Tone couldn't help but admire Ha's carefree demeanor as she enjoyed her treat. After a moment, he asked, "So, what's on your mind? What did you want to talk about?" Ha hesitated, then spoke. "It's nothing big. I just haven't seen you in over 3 months, and there's so much to say. At home, Mom keeps hovering around, so I thought we could talk more freely here." Tone smiled encouragingly. "Go on. What's new in these 3 months?" "Not much for me," Ha said. "I passed the baccalaureate too and enrolled in law school, but my sister, she's the one who's changed." "I heard she's in France to study," Tone interjected. Ha laughed. "Studying abroad? That's just a way of putting it. She's going to get married. The guy's from a family my dad knows." Tone showed no reaction, surprising Ha. "Did you already know? Why aren't you surprised?" "It's not shocking," Tone replied. "Whether she's studying or marrying, it's natural for her to leave this war-torn country." Ha teased. "I thought you used to have a crush on her." Tone shook his head. "Not at all. She scared most people away. Why would I dare?" The two shared a laugh before Tone turned the conversation back to Ha. "What about you? Have you caught anyone's attention yet?" Ha put her spoon down, looking him in the eye. "How could I? I'm just a small pig." Tone shook his head, his tone turning serious. "If you're a pig, then there's no beauty in Saigon. But honestly, whoever wants to be with you must be a prince or nobleman. Ordinary people wouldn't dare approach you." Ha's cheeks flushed as she countered. "You're so strange. I don't own anything. It's all my parents' wealth, not mine. Is that really how you see me?" Tone paused, choosing his words carefully. "It's not how I see you, it's a reality. People say material things don't matter in love, but that's easy to say when you have plenty. For those of us who've lived in poverty, it's a different story. You're used to abundance. For you, it's normal. For others, it's a dream." Ha's voice softened as she asked, What do you think of me? Do you like me? Caught off guard, Tone studied her expression before responding. Leaning back, he spoke slowly. I'll be honest. When I first met you, you were just a little girl, one of my students. But over time, I grew to admire your straightforwardness and kindness. You never looked down on me. Even though I'm a poor student from a countryside, I like you, but I know I'm not worthy of you. I can only hope to be a good friend. He continued, his tone heavy. You've seen how your family treats me. Society would never accept a relationship between us. I don't want you to go against your family's wishes. Because of me, let's stay friends for now and see what the future holds. Ha nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I know you're right, but I'm an adult now. Why should I have to follow my parents' wishes? Tone looked at her with a mix of affection and pity. You're not wrong, but we don't live in isolation. Ignoring our families and responsibilities isn't realistic. For now, let's maintain our friendship and take things one step at a time. Can we do that? Ha's face brightened slightly. Fine, but promise me you'll meet me whenever you're on leave. We'll meet at the law school gate, not my house. Mom makes me so uncomfortable. Tone nodded, smiling. It's a promise. From then on, every weekend, Ha and Tone spent time together, visiting ice cream parlors, watching movies, and strolling through the bustling streets of Saigon. The privacy of their outings allowed their feelings to deepen, until one fateful day. Tone stood in front of the law school gate, waiting for Ha as usual, when a familiar black car pulled up. Uncle Tu, the family driver, stepped out and handed Tone an envelope. Without a word, he got back into the car and drove away. Tone hesitated, then walked to a nearby cafe, where he opened the letter. The note was brief, written in Ha's familiar, bold handwriting. Mr. Tone, my mother found out about our secret meetings, so she won't let me leave the house today. I asked Uncle Tu to deliver this letter to let you know. I'll try to see you next week. Ta and Ha, the following weeks were a turning point. Ha could no longer meet Tone freely. Instead, she had to arrange their outings under her mother's watchful eye. Uncle Tu drove them wherever they went, and their stolen moments of freedom were replaced by constrained, supervised visits. Ha explained one afternoon, Mom says she doesn't forbid me from seeing you, but I'm not allowed to go out alone. If I want to leave, Uncle Tu must take me. I hate it, but I have no choice. Tone understood the underlying intent. Ha's mother wasn't openly forbidding their relationship. She was imposing conditions that made it impossible for their love to flourish. The subtle strategy worked, and Tone began to pull away. He had always known their relationship was doomed, but the sweetness of their connection had made him hope against all odds for a different outcome. Now, faced with reality, he realized he couldn't ask Ha to choose between him and her family. The inevitable end came quietly but painfully. After graduating from the Thursday Duke Infantry School, Tone received an assignment to teach at the National Military Academy in Dalat. Before leaving, he visited Ha's family one last time. Her sister, Swan, had already left for France, preparing to marry the son of a family friend. Ha's path, Tone thought, would likely follow a similar course, a life of privilege and stability. As he left Saigon, memories of the city flooded him. The lecture halls, the library table in the Abraham Lincoln Library, the shaded streets of Luquidan, and most poignantly, Ha, the girl he had loved deeply but had never kissed. Goodbye, my dear, he thought as he departed. May your life be like a peaceful river, flowing gently through tranquil fields. Let go of the dreams of adolescence. Goodbye to the city of my youth and its fleeting dreams. In Dalat, life resumed its steady rhythm. The poetic highlands offered a tranquil backdrop as Tone adjusted to his new reality. Time, as it always does, softened the sharp edges of his heartbreak. Yet, in quiet moments, the memory of Ha lingered, a bittersweet reminder of a love that could never be. Years later, at a friend's wedding, Tone met Tram, a kind and down-to-earth primary school teacher from an ordinary family. Her parents, vegetable farmers in Dalat, welcomed him warmly when he decided to marry Tram. Thoughts of Ha resurfaced. He hadn't seen or heard from her in years, but he felt she should know. He sent her a wedding invitation, unsure if she would respond. On the day of his wedding, Tone was stunned when Ha appeared. She had traveled all the way from Saigon to the Lat to see him. Her presence was a poignant surprise, and the small gift she gave him carried an emotional weight he hadn't anticipated. "This is one of a pair of wedding rings I bought for us," she said softly, her eyes shimmering with emotion. "I'll keep mine as a keepsake of what we shared. You should keep yours, too." Tone was overwhelmed. In that moment, he realized the depth of her feelings and the sacrifices she had made to honor their love. Though their paths had diverged, her gesture served as a reminder of the purity and intensity of their bond, a love that, though unfulfilled, would forever hold a place in his heart.